Hi guys, welcome back to my experience channel. If you're new here, this is the place I share experiences to enlighten. If you have become part of this family, thank you so much for always sharing our content, for always leaving a comment. Today I am so happy to have a guest and she will introduce herself, but before she does that, I want to appreciate Second Sight Software Company Limited. This is a company that deals it deals with Microsoft products, and it also deals with website design. If you are interested in their products, reach out to them. I will leave their contacts on the screen below. They are very prompt with their services and very qualified in whatever they do. My guest today, we have a very interesting conversation that's on expectations versus reality when it comes to dating, courting, when you're looking forward to getting married. So grab yourself a cup of tea, a glass of water, get comfortable and listen to our conversation. Comment and let us know. Any questions also will be appreciated. Karibu.
Thank you very much for this platform.
Yes.
So my name is Peris Wamaitha Watungu. Professionally, I am a teacher and I teach history and Kiswahili, and I'm really grateful to be part of this. So welcome to our today's conversation.
Karibu sana Peris.
Thank you.
So the discussion is on courtship. I don't know what's your thoughts on the same.
So we first begin by defining what courtship is.
Yeah.
So young teenagers who have a relationship cannot have that as courtship. That becomes dating.
Yes.
But when we are talking about courtship, we are discussing about a male and a female who feel ready for marriage.
Yes.
And so they are trying to have final touches on understanding each other so that they can decide to yoke themselves in marriage, yes, for life. Yeah.
So at what age should we date and at what age should we court?
Interesting. So personally, I don't believe in dating. I believe in courtship.
Why not dating?
Because like why are you dating if you're not planning to marry someone? So I personally believe in friendship.
Yes.
And then if we really find this to be serious, then can we discuss about courtship?
Okay. That's
But
really profound.
yeah, but this in between friendships that people tend to call dating, and they end up doing things that, like people who are just about to court or marry, I think we lose it there. And I tend to think it's not authentic to talk about dating. It's more authentic to speak about courtship.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because that's mature. Like courtship is for mature people. I think being a teacher, we get to hear students saying na date fulani. It feels like you're not of age for marriage. That's why people tend to like date. You're not yet physically ready, mentally ready, economically ready. But when you're talking about courtship, it's serious people, mature people who know where they want to go.
That's really nice. So what are the expectations when somebody is courting? What are the expectations versus the reality? Because nowadays people are really not into courting, and they feel like the right men are not out there. The right girls are also not out there. And it becomes a challenge. And what maybe are the expectations and the realities, and what is making these people not want to be in courtship or to even have a relationship that can lead to marriage?
So first, I tend to feel that every single person who expects to be in a courtship needs to have a personal awareness of who they are.
Yeah.
So why is it that most people find it a mix in courtship? It's because you get into it when you're not first single. So what I mean is, like, you have to acknowledge that you're a single entity. Like if you can't be single, then you equally won't enjoy being in a courtship. Like there's the individuality you that you have to understand and appreciate.
That self-awareness.
Yes. Before you try to understand and appreciate the other person.
Yes.
So the first expectation, or how it should be, is first understand who you are. You need to appreciate being alone, being single. You need to be happy,
Yes.
being alone first, because your happiness should not be pegged to, someone else.
True.
So it begins with you first. Now, when you are fully aware of yourself, then you are going to be in a position to understand what are some of these characters that I'm looking forward to in another person, which will eventually complement who I am already. So I feel one of the worst mistakes to make is to get into a courtship without first having a personal self-awareness. Who are you?
Awesome. Then once I know who I am in terms of my characters, I can do life alone without another person. I can accommodate somebody else. Then I'm ready now to be in courtship. Wow, that's great. So what is happening outside there?
Well, outside here, I think people are scared of staying alone.
And it is scary.
Well, it is.
Yes.
It can be scary, but
Yes.
I think people are scared of, facing who they are. Like, who are you first? So you end up being dependent on other people for life. I don't find it personally. I first have to enjoy my personal company before I step out there. So I tend to find we are getting into it because we are scared of really discovering ourselves first without with the absence of other people. And we end up making wrong choices because you find that you get into it at the wrong age.
Is there a right age?
I feel there's a right age.
Which is this right age?
But like psychologically,
Yes.
a young girl is not mature for marriage.
A young girl.
A young girl between 0 to 24.
0 to 24?
You're not mature for marriage.
24, I think I'm ready for marriage.
You know what? I know our parents,
Yes.
like personally my parents got married, I think your age at 23, 24. Oh my goodness, that was such a huge decision.
Yes.
But now, a bit of biology. In our brain, we've got the neurons.
Yes.
And they normally myelinated. They have that layer of fat that normally improves the transmission of information, and that makes you act fast. So psychologically, they say your myelin sheath as a woman is not fully developed until the age of 25.
Wow, that's profound.
Yeah, and you're a parent. Let me give you an example. There are things your child does, and you're like, Mona hufikiri, why are you not thinking?
They cannot think.
But they can't think. And even if they're thinking, their thinking process is a bit slow because the neurons are still transmitting the information like in a slow way. But for you, like yours is fully developed, and that's why you're able to make decisions very fast. That is one. So what is the age? I mean, if you're not 25,
And
you're
above.
not, yes, and above, you're not yet mature for marriage. Another thing. I don't know whether this was your experience, but were you really emotional between your early 20s, before 25 years?
I would say yes. There is a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
Especially when I dated personally, and I loved the experience. I didn't have the information that you're mentioning right now, but I did it right. And the emotions, yes, they are very strong at that moment, and you can easily make decisions based on the emotions. And not maybe thinking through of the facts, and you can rush to make decisions that can hurt you later in life, because at times you'd think that for example, I'll marry this person because I feel so much love for him, and I'll not consider anything else apart from that feeling.
And sometimes it could be emotional fondness. Like,
Yes.
what's love? We need to define love.
Love is a strong feeling that you feel towards somebody. But I also feel that it's a decision at times. You make the decision, especially in marriage. You decide, once you tie that knot, it's a decision you make each and every day. You decide to love that person for better, for worse. Whatever situation that comes along the way, you make the decision. Even when they feel like they are lovable, you still decide to love them. I would say that.
I think I love your second definition more. It's more of a principle. And then the feeling is the reward that comes when you keep this principle. You see, how will I know that you love me? I would through your actions.
Yes.
Like, you're kind. And out of being kind, then I have a feeling, I'll have dopamine appreciating your kindness. Okay? Like, you are patient with my mistakes. You don't over criticize a mistake that I make.
Yes.
When I see that, that kind of character, then I tend to have a feeling towards you, and I also like understand that you are truly loving me. It becomes an action, and the feeling is the reward. But you see, young girls like us, we are running for pleasure, the feeling, without thinking of the principle. And that's why I think when you get into marriage, marriages have lasted. Our parents' marriages have lasted because I think they probably understood that it's more of a principle. So when the newness of marriage, shrinks, and you don't feel what you used to feel because that newness has shrinked, then you tend to ask yourself why you're there, because it's the emotion that took you there. It's not the principle. It's not the character that you saw in this person. It was how you felt when you saw them. Yeah. So I think love is more of a principle, and the feeling is a reward of practicing that principle.
Wow. But I also tend to think that if I decide that I want to court this person, then that which drew me to them, and most of the time it's the feeling. Because what did I like about them? The physical appearance. First, I was attracted to how they looked. I was attracted to how they speak, or whatever it is that made me feel like, wow, I like this person. Then from there, probably, I'll get to know them better by relating with them. For example, if I get a chance to take a walk with them, from the experiences of the walk, I'll get to learn so much about their character. And from the character now, I'll be able to see that indeed this is a person who, apart from that feeling I had, there are other characters that I'm liking about them.
Definitely, there has to be that, because the first session, your heart has to skip a bit, like, I think I like his vibe, it has to be there first. If there's if you don't have that spark, then now you can't even have a room to
give that person a chance.
Yes, or even to learn who they are. So I really agree, there has to be a spark. And then now with getting to know each other, now the spark should grow, and the principle should equally grow therein.
Wow. So do you think most of these young girls probably don't have the right basis, the right foundation for the relationship? They actually don't know whether they are courting or they are dating, and that's why they find themselves in a situation whereby they are wondering how they got themselves there. So what advice
can we have dear gentlemen defining the status?
I like that.
Like, you can have a friend,
Yes.
and they're so good. So all along, as a female, you're looking at the actions, and you're like, wow, this guy could be the guy, and he's really acting like the guy. But hey, lo and behold,
He's a married man.
Or you get to see a picture, wedding soon. You're like, what were we?
What were we
doing?
What
Who are we? You know.
Yeah, and
So
it's really hurting.
it is. So I feel if and girls, don't stay in a friendship that is not defined.
Yeah.
Let's agree, if we are friends, let it be friendship, and it's clear in my mind that we are being friends, right?
So should somebody ask?
No.
Like, what is this? What is happening?
No, I think that's why we have this episode.
Yeah.
To all our viewers,
Yes.
please implement this skill. I don't find it right. You should ask if you feel that there's no signal. But I think gentlemen should be gentle. Like, they should be gentlemen. If you really have some nice feeling or vibe towards me, kindly define it. Then I'll know what this is. And I feel as a girl, then I shouldn't stay in a friendship that is not so defined. And if I could be having a vibe to that person, and I can see they equally have it, but they're not saying it, it's not pride. But I think it is Adam who vibed Eve. It wasn't Eve who went vibing Adam.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's biblically. So I feel it should be the guy, you know, bringing this forward, and not the girl going out to ask it. Though that is what is happening today. I
Could
don't
it be
agree with
the
it.
girls are feeling like the men are taking too long? And is it true the men are taking too long to respond? And what could be the reason? Why are they taking so long to respond? Or maybe they're married and they're thinking, this is a good friend that I have, and which is wrong, because they'll tag you along and they will make a good man lose you in the process. So I don't know what could be happening. What do you think? What do you experience out there?
We have very nice, responsible men, and we equally
Single
have
men?
yes. We also have very nice, irresponsible men. So why are you taking so long? Because you don't want to feel responsible and committed to this person. You still feel that you need some freedom, but at the same time you're tied between the freedom you want and the commitment. So why is it taking so long? We don't have people who want to commit.
Could it be there are reasons for that? For example, a man probably wants to be financially stable before they have somebody to take care of. And in the process, they have met this girl who is really nice and they love so much, but they fear, what if I commit right now and then I will not be able to meet her expectations? Probably take her down the aisle, marry her, take her to, probably they don't even have a place, they're still living with their parents. So could it be the reason? That's the reason. And if it is, do you think they should, like, for example, express their feeling? This is what I feel about you, but I would want to have ABCD first, check, and then now, so that in your mind you know that this is a guy who is really into me, and they would want me to be in a serious relationship with, but the situation is making them not, but they are promising that if I wait and things look up, then we can be an item.
You see, courtship should be friendship, right?
Yes.
And in every friendship, like, we should talk.
Yes.
You know, what are these conversations that we should be having? I think that is one of those conversations that people who are courting should be having. It's okay, like, to say where you are in life. It's okay to feel accommodated with where you are in life, yeah? So it's not right for people to fear speaking out where they are. Like, we're all human beings, and we tend to have an understanding of people's situations, because I'm also growing just like you are. So the challenges you're talking about could be similar challenges to me, and you know, two heads are better than one. So by speaking it out, maybe I have land, you know, and you're struggling to buy land. As in, maybe I could be part of that solution that you're looking for. So it is right for us to speak out in courtship. Let's talk, and let's be authentic. Let's be honest with how things are.
What about these men who you've said that men are not being honest? Like you might be having a friend who is married and you don't know. How can we deal with that? Because if a man doesn't want to say he's married, he won't say it. So how are we going to deal with this?
It's quite unfortunate, right?
Is there a way that we can be able to tell that this is a married man? Because it's difficult.
Yeah, I agree, it is. I think this is where prayer comes in. Because who is the author of marriage?
God.
It's God. And definitely God can't really bring Michael and you know, tell you that Michael is now your husband. You know, God gives you a chance to choose.
Yes.
He just provides the personnel, then you choose, right?
Yes.
So how would you know? I believe if you had been praying to get a partner every day, once per day, like a prayer a day, then I think when it's that serious, so close, you should double your prayers. God is faithful.
Yeah, he answers
Being the author of marriage, he could give you like signs or just provide a scenario where you meet this guy with a wife and the children. You're like, oh, were you married? You know. So it's actually hard to tell whether a man is married or not. But again, your circle of influence should also help you, because you don't go getting a man from a circle that you're not familiar with, right?
Yes.
Or they don't get you from an uncommon ground. So I feel if it's possible to know, depending with the circle that you are interacting with, who they are, then it's also good to tell people that, hey, I'm seeing so and so.
Yeah.
They could give you some hints of who they are exactly, you know. Yeah, so I find, and that's where we are going wrong as young people. I want to date someone, but I don't want to bring them out to people, to my parents.
There's also a risk of this issue of I mentioned that I'm dating somebody, and then maybe my friends might not be happy for me, and you never know what they will do about it. Because we live in a world where people have really changed, and people can do anything to stop your success. They can be jealous of you.
That's true.
And you never know what they can do behind your back. So we are being careful of such things. So I think that's why most people would not want to mention that they are dating somebody. But like you've said, it's good to share, maybe to your close friends.
Or mentor.
Yes. Tell them, and maybe they can give you things to look out for, so that you can be able to see exactly the kind of a person you're dating. You've also mentioned something about praying. I actually prayed. I prayed. I remember having a very long list of what I wanted in a man, and as I was mentioning whatever was in that list, one day I asked myself if I am that kind of a person, because I had the tall, dark, and handsome kind, and I was like, am I that kind? Am I that loving? And I changed my list, and I said, I think I want somebody who God feels will compliment me. And I stopped praying about everything else, but there's one thing that I didn't stop praying about, and that's, I told God I would want a man who fears him.
Amen.
Because if a man fears God, you can be sure there'll be peace in that home.
That's true.
And I also didn't want somebody who is into alcohol and such, because of the experience at home. So I also prayed about that. And I also mentioned that I want somebody who will love me for me. However I laugh, if the kind of laughter that people will be like, how come she's laughing like that? I wanted that person to love me the way I am, the way I wake up in the morning, the way I look. Somebody who will love me for me and nothing else. Not how I speak, not what I do. Just love me for who I am. And that was my prayer, and I believe God answered my prayer. And I remember when I first met them, I think I loved them so much. So I remembered that I had made a prayer, and I was now scared to ask God that, is this really the person? And the fear was,
no. It's a no. Oh no. I know
the vibe for this guy. So, but I told myself, I started this process. I have to finish it. And I remember telling God, if indeed this is the person that you have chose for me. And it was a risky prayer, because that time there were no phones. And do you know what my prayer was? Let this person reach out to me. We are from different places. I'm from Uranga, he's from Kisumu, and I told God, if he's the one that you have chosen for me, let him reach out.
Guys, faith.
Do you know he sent shout outs over the radio, which I never had. But when we went back to school, to college, guys are like, wow, I had, he did ABC. And I was like, okay, this is now my answered prayer. And so I was now convinced. I felt so grateful to God, because when you find, people normally joke that the rib, you feel good about it, and whatever situation that comes along the way, you have the faith to deal with it, because you feel God had authored this, and you're excited to overcome each and every obstacle that comes your way. So prayer is good. And I also mentioned that it's good to date, to quote your friend. And who is your friend? And I believe a friend is a person whom you can reach out to, and you're sure that they will come through whatever the situation. Because when this person is your friend, you're at peace. If I call them, they'll answer. If I need their help, they will do whatever they can to make sure they sort me out. And it's not an issue of taking advantage of, but it's out of the feeling and out of the love that they have for me, that they will do, like we are saying, the action, how they behave. And if that person is your friend, if this person fears God, especially for men, let the man be a God-fearing man.
True.
For the ladies, I would say, be a lady of character. Let the man find you when you are a lady of character. The way you dress, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself. I know most people might take this offensive, but I normally say, I'll go out there and hug family and only my husband, because a hug is,
it's part of it's emotion. It's part of emotions.
You don't go giving it to
everyone. Tick. True. So for everyone.
I personally feel if you're not family, then I'll save it for my husband.
You can do the handshake, right?
Yes.
Great.
And it doesn't mean that I tell my husband, don't go out there hugging girls. If he feels that he doesn't have an issue with it, I think when we have a discussion, this is how I carry myself, these are my reasons, then I think it's okay. Because again, you don't go dictating that I want you to be like ABCD, and he will not also dictate to me I want you to be ABCD. Because he's an entity, I am an entity.
Great.
We come together, united with unity of purpose. Yes.
And you see, you can't control an adult.
True.
Like you cannot, and then you don't allow anyone to have you lose your individuality. Like, plus you said it's about my virtues and your virtues. If I feel I shouldn't do this, fine, I shouldn't do that, because that is what is supposed to be in my small world. I loved how you mentioned about the rib. You see, one thing I love about the rib is it's a part that is between the feet and the head. So this is how I take it, that as Christians it's symbolic, but
actually we want to date the Christian way,
exactly,
the godly way.
It is right and sweet, like you said. I loved your experience.
Awesome.
So yes, so you see the rib is from this part, And it means that that wife is not supposed to be the head.
True.
It also means she's not supposed to be trampled on the feet.
Wow.
Right? It means that I, as the rib, or you, as the rib, should stand next to your helpmeet.
Awesome.
To be loved and to be protected. That's why it had to be the rib. You stand next, and you see when people are doing weddings, you know, we don't understand why they're standing, and you realize exactly, and then you realize the man stands
on the right side.
On the right side. Which hand is stronger?
The right side.
Many a times for protection purposes, that in case of anything, they're gonna protect you. So the fact that a woman is from the rib and where the rib is means they should be loved, they should be protected, and they should be
loved,
protected. Exactly. And they should be helpmeets.
True.
And girls should also, they should be treated as equal human beings. And girls should understand that they're not the head, but they should also understand they're not to be trampled on. We're still emphasizing they're to be loved and to be protected. I think that's all a woman wants.
Actually, that's all. I had, don't remember his name, but he said that every day a man wakes up and he's thinking, am I still her hero? As the woman wakes up and think, would he still choose me? Does he still choose me? Which translates to, does he still love me? And the man is like, am I still the hero? Does she feel the security, the strength in me as a man? So I think it's important that we take our places, and as we go through courtship, we do it the right way, because it's very important. There'll be God's blessings in it.
True.
And I wouldn't want us to stop this before we talk about sex in courtship and its advantages. It doesn't have any. The disadvantages of doing that.
You know, honestly, like with all honesty, sex should not be done in dating, or for those who go with courtship, in courtship.
Yes.
It shouldn't.
True, I agree.
I'll give a very bad example, but it makes sense. You know, a chewing gum, we all know the PK, right?
Yes.
Normally has nice 4 pellets inside, and we buy that because we feel it's sweet. Now, what I like about it, it's always sealed, right? So I honestly view it as if you know you're not sure that this is the person you're going to marry.
Yes.
So it's like when you sleep with them, you're opening up that beautiful fresh and you're giving out the first pellet, right?
Yes.
The truth is God can restore your virginity. That is so true. But again, there's also this other side. You're not, there's a gap. There's one pellet missing. There's a pellet missing. That's the fact. So there. So if you still have a chance to like abstain, please do. I think it's more rewarding to give this package gift eventually to the right person. I realize when people are courting, I have friends who've gone through this, but they eventually used a lot of pills. They were really heartbroken, especially if they gave themselves to these men and the men ended up not marrying them. It became very hurtful for them, and some of them are still in depression. They're still healing because this is someone taking away something from you, and you also feel betrayed because you trusted them so much, you know. So what's God's way? Sex is for marriage.
Yes.
If we it's a gift in marriage. If we could understand that as young people, then by the help of God, we can keep that. It's going to be a blessing because that's the principle. Yeah.
I also feel that it's true. It's important that we wait until we get married. And what I have learned from my spouse, he's told me before that once a man gets a chance to sleep with this girl, if his focus was not to marry her, he will definitely leave.
Quite unfortunate.
And at times that's the goal. The initial plan was not to settle down. The initial plan was not to marry this girl, because men, not all, but they're curious. So in case
it is all
all are curious.
All men are curious.
So it's so unfortunate that you will be used and in the process get hurt. And it's so difficult for a lady to get over that. It's not easy. It hurts so much. And so the best thing is keep yourself. Don't be quick to allow this man to have a part of you. Even if you're sure he's the one. I think it's better when you enjoy this with him now after time than not. Because it will be discovery for the two of you. It doesn't really matter whether he's a virgin or not. The thing is, I will be proud of myself, that I kept myself, that I did it the right way. And God, in his wisdom, he knows us. And he repays us.
You said it so well.
Thank you.
He knows us, and he indeed repays. And you know, that feeling that I did something the right way is something nobody can take away from me.
True.
Yeah, and that is it. Yeah, that's it. So I totally agree with you, being that you're speaking from experience. We are still theoretical, guys. But I love the fact that you're speaking from experience and you concur with the principles that need to be followed in courtship and marriage.
I have learned one thing from you about dating, that it's important that you go right into courtship. I told you personally, I think I dated and then I did the courtship. But I think your way of looking at it is a better way, that if I have no business in getting married in the near future, then it's better that I keep off than just have friends. And I also like the fact that you know so much about what you want, that you need to be self-aware, that you need to be able to accommodate a second person into your life, which is really nice. And I believe this conversation has gone a long way. Somebody who is probably out there and wondering what next, they now know the right age. 24 and above is better than below. And
True.
if they have found themselves in a situation whereby they are below that age, I believe God is there.
He is.
And he can actually walk with them.
Indeed.
It's good to seek advice from older women. Personally, I like sharing my experiences, and that's why I call this channel My Experiences, because I believe where I am today is from different women who have gone before me, and they have made it easier for me. It was nice having you.
Thank you.
I love the conversation. I think now we should have another one and talk about maybe the do's and don'ts in courtship, and probably by then you will be in it so that you can share your experience. At times it's good when you share from your experience.
That's true.
And people will, because when you've not gone through it, at times you tell it from what you have had
or read,
yes.
Yeah.
But when it's from your experience, you let people know, don't do this. It didn't work for me. Do this. It worked for me. Try it out. So I think we can have another conversation on the same.
Indeed. And also from a married perception, I think all young girls ought to know some of the responsibilities that are entitled to them once they get into marriage, because we get into it blindly. We don't know people know sex, right? People know children, right? I believe there's more to that. A lot. But it's so blank in the minds of young people, and that's why they rush to get into it, because the objective is only one thing. Yeah. So we also will have that episode where we need mothers like you sharing out what are these the same thing to men. We're also having men in need of understanding the responsibilities expected of them.
That's really important. And I think that's it.
That's
we
it.
should end it.
Great.
It was really nice. Please leave a comment. Let us know what you've thought about the conversation. You have a question, feel free to ask. If you'd like us to discuss about anything else, just leave it on the comment and we'll do that. Until the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.